from the Arklahomepage studio, this is Total Bulldog Sports. On Arklahomepage.com.
Week 3 of the playoffs, full swing. Arklahomepage.com. My name is Clint Davis. This is Total Bulldog Sports. We are doing this thing. We try to do it every week. I don't know how much longer we're going to be able to do football. We are going to see the Gore Pirates this week on Friday. We're going to talk more about that. It's actually tomorrow. We'll talk more about that here in just a little bit with my broadcast partner, Michael Mendoza. He's going to be here in just a couple of seconds. He's actually here right now, but he likes to tie up loose ends before we jump on the air. Speaking of tying up loose ends and paying the bills, I want to say thank you to our headline sponsors out at the Bud Shop. Guys, they're located right behind Roland Family Dental and Braces. They're right outside my neighborhood, right outside Woodland Hills in Roland. One of the best places you can find. We'll talk about some other guys here in just a little bit too. Some other great places to go. We do want to throw out a big thank you to S&S and also Sensible Air. Talked to the folks at both of those places here this week. They've signed on to do a little sponsorship for our playoff game here coming up on tomorrow. So, Gore Pirates tomorrow. We're going to talk about them here in just a little bit. But first, we're going to hear our commercial from the Bud Shop. You guys get a little bit of info on them or write that down if you need to. And then we'll be right back with Total Bulldog Sports on Arklahomepage.com. The Bud Shop is Roland's friendly neighborhood dispensary. Located right outside Woodland Hills behind Roland Family Dental and Braces, the Bud Shop has the cleanest medicine from brands like 1937 and my personal favorite, BCC Collective. From edibles and oils to exotic flower, find trusted medicine at a trusted dispensary. That's the Bud Shop in Roland. But yeah, going to Gore this week, Friday. That's how we're going to start this thing out. Gore Pirates, let's bring some info up about these guys. We've got this up over here on the monitor. We're going to talk about some things Spiro and Muldrow related. You guys know Friday night, this past Friday night, November 15th, things didn't turn out very well for our Spiro Bulldogs, and that kind of stuff happens. It's just one of those things. You live and learn. There's always next year. For some of these guys, they're not going to be back. But a lot of them are. There's not very – what do we got? About 6 guys that are graduating, I think, somewhere in that ballpark. And then everybody – but, think about it, Michael. That Spiro football team, that ain't no 6-man team,
No.
That's a huge team. So, they are losing key components. But
very key.
They've got a lot more key components that they're ready to get plugged in, and that's why we heard some of the guys talking on the previous episodes about how Coach was plugging them into different areas, and more guys were getting different looks on different parts of the field. So, there's a lot to be proud of. 41-13 was the final in Hugo, and things just didn't go the way of the Bulldog that night, and it's okay.
Yeah, because of all things else, you didn't come out with the win, but you did come out of there with the experience. You got Johnson coming back next year, like you said. You got all these kids that are returning.
You got the Rogers twins coming back on defense.
Look at
Braxton Peterson coming back on defense.
They all now have playoff experience under their belt to teach these younger kids, and these kids are going to be our seniors next year.
Yeah, man.
You want to talk about total BS being lit next year?
Oh, man. Dude, we're going to have so much material for the podcast. I mean, I think we're going to have a lot of material for basketball, too, coming up.
Oh, definitely.
But next year, football, I'm already looking forward to 2020 football. I know we've got to kind of take our time, and we really don't even know if we're going to be around by then. Global warming could capsize this boat in the meantime, but I don't think that's going to happen. But I'm looking forward, to more football. We do have more football on tap. We don't with Spiro. We don't with Muldrow. I'll go ahead. We'll just kind of get this elephant out of the room too. We had one more Muldrow game on the schedule at the end of this season, and some things happened. You guys probably know there's a lot of reading going on. I don't get involved in that, but Some people, one person did the talking, and one person asked me very politely if I would just please not draw attention to the football program that week. Could you guys go please do another game? And I said, sure. And we froze.
Yeah.
We froze in Tulsa. That Holland Hall game was brutal. It wasn't just brutal for the boys out there on the turf and everything. It was, I shouldn't complain. That was, I've dealt with temperatures a lot worse than that before, but we, that Max Preps is always good about pop-up videos.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, so that's why, and the only reason why I'm talking about this is because this is Total Bulldog Sports.
This is total BS.
And we've had people ask, why did you take the Muldrow game off? Some people think that we, did it because we're not devoted to Muldrow. We are completely 100%. We're going to be right there for basketball and, even football next season. You never know what's gonna be around the corner for next football season. Everybody's looking like they're going to be in a different place next season. 100% know for a fact the Roland Rangers are going to be in a different place.
Yep.
I think we're going to see a level of football out of Roland that we haven't seen in a while.
I hope so.
That's what I think. And I know you remember this, the first of the season. I was defending the Rangers and Coach Potts and saying these guys are going to be good this year, and I was getting cussed out for it. You remember that?
Yeah, I do.
I mean, ridiculousness. But I'm just going to go ahead and say it now. I mean, I say it every year, but I think Roland is going to be one of those teams. You guys watch. There's going to be a different coach in town. I don't know who it's going to be. Nobody knows who it's going to be. It could be one of the guys that's already there. It could be someone we don't even know. But I can tell you one thing, Coach Martin, Mr. Martin, the superintendent now, he is going to want to win some football games. I promise you that.
Definitely.
And, that's why they brought Coach Jones in at Muldrow when Coach Martin was out there. He was the athletic director for a long time, and that was a good pickup. Coach Jones is a good, strong pickup. And so I think Coach Martin's going to do the same thing. Spiro, also going to be a program that's way stronger next year, going to be in a completely different place next year. And I don't just say it because of the juniors coming up to be seniors. One of the reasons why I say it is because we know the caliber of player. We've talked to the players, some of them, not all of them, but the ones that we've talked to, even that are sophomores coming up, there's still a strong underclass coming up at Spiro. So Spiro's going to be in a different place. I'll tell you something I noticed. I walked out onto that field. I don't want Braxton to get upset with me for this, but we walked out on the field after that game was over, and we talked to Sam Dolan that night on the field at Hugo after the last game, and then we talked to Braxton Peterson. When you look at these guys, and normally you would think, seniors last game, these guys understandably crying. But I'm going to tell you something. I'm not just blowing smoke here. I saw a look in Braxton Peterson's eyes that night, like he wanted to be back on that field. Like we're coming back here next year. And I don't know if that's what's going to go down. I don't know if that's how it'll play out. I don't even, we're talking about teams being in different places next year. We don't know what's going to happen. That's why we got to play a whole season to get there. But I saw a look in Braxton's eyes like we're going to come back here. We're going to get this back.
And when was it, just last year they played Hugo at home?
2017 was the last time they played Hugo, and Spiro did, and so they beat them. Spiro beat Hugo the last time they played, and 2017 is when that was. We mentioned that a little bit on the last episode there, but yeah, just couldn't overcome Hugo. Look, man, Hugo was talented. Hugo had a quarterback who threw for 130-something yards, I think, and threw the ball 6 times, okay?
Yeah.
6 times. He averaged 19 yards per launch.
Yeah, that ain't no joke.
I mean, and he was launching them. That's just what he was doing. These guys for Spiro, they knew that this guy was an elite quarterback. They knew that he was good. They talked him up to me. They talked him up to you. They talked him up to everybody. And they, rightfully so, because they gave this guy a lot of respect, and he deserved it. That guy went out there on that ball field. King was his last name.
Yep.
And King went out there and played a level of football that I haven't seen yet. That's not a dig on Chandler for Muldrow. It's not a dig on
Johnson at Spiro.
Yeah, it's not a dig on Nick Johnson either, with Spiro, but this guy was just a different level of quarterback. That's why some of these guys have another year to get to that level. When we talked to Nick, it was about preseason. It was about preseason. It was about camps. It was about getting better. It was about getting stronger. It was about getting faster. Mm-hmm. That's the only thing these guys mentioned. There wasn't a whole lot of, if we lose, here's what we're going to do. We didn't hear a lot of that.
No, never. Actually, I don't think we heard a lot of it at all.
No, what we heard, the majority of what we heard was, here's how we're getting better. And it really doesn't matter if it's just a part-time thing or a full-time thing, or if these guys are going full on into it right now before they ever even get some of them won't even go to basketball season. Some of them are going to go straight to the weight room and power lift.
Yeah. And start weight meets.
Yeah, man. And then they got track going on, and some of those guys are going to be running track. And the baseball, we talked to Bobby Rogers about the baseball program. We're going to try to maybe look into doing some broadcast. We still need to figure out what's going on if they got their own, if they're going to do their own broadcasting now. We don't want to stand on anybody's feet. We don't want to get in the way of anything.
And one thing I want to add right there, when we were just talking about what they're fixing to go into, I'm glad that the state of Oklahoma is making weightlifting a thing. Whenever you and I were in school, it was only a thing for the high school kids.
Yeah.
Now you're having junior high kids getting to go to meets, and you're extending it on down. Before too long, we're going to have probably some, weekend meets for, 5th and 6th grade if they want to do that. If they want to take it that far, that may be a little far-fetched. But you get 8th graders, 9th graders, you get the kids in the weight room that young. You're not doing anything but making them bigger, faster, stronger, healthier.
Better.
That's it.
Better every day, and that's kind of the way it was. Me being everybody, you're a coach's kid. Well, I didn't even get to go to the weight room being a coach's kid. There, you don't get special perks. Sometimes I guess maybe you do if you're in the right place or whatever, but not everybody had access like you're talking about. It was a high schooler thing. It was a strict supervision, which I understand that part, but the problem was we never had anybody who wanted to do the strict supervision.
Right.
That was the problem. Not until the later part of when I was in high school, like around 99, 2000. I graduated in 2000. So, we finally had kind of a different regime coming in. But after that, boom, we were all gone. I was in the Navy after that. So,
but the fact of the matter is, it's there, and I'm glad it is there. It's not just you're a high school athlete. Okay, you can do weightlifting.
Yeah, it's not a privilege thing. It's more of a culture. It's a way of life now. That's kind of the way it's got to be. Strength is a big thing. You look at baseball. If you don't have a lot of power hitters on your team, then you need better strength conditioning. That's just one of those things. If you got a bunch of slow guys, guess what? Put some weights on. Let's go out and run. Look at me this past summer. I put on that backpack, put 25 pounds of water bottles in it, and boom, before I knew it, I was running 3 miles a day. There's a lot of things that you can do to overcome those humps, but
got to have the will, the fire, and the want to.
Got to have that fire. It's got to be burning. Speaking of the fire, we are going to be in Gore. This coming Friday. That's going to be November 22nd. We're going to be in Gore, Oklahoma. We got some stuff out on.
Yeah, Gore and Barnsdall.
Is it Barnsdall or Barnsdall? It's spelled like Barnsdall. Here's the problem. I've lived in Oklahoma just almost my whole life, and I have never even heard of this place.
Me either.
So this is going to be a unique opportunity to talk about a bunch of people we don't know in a place that we have never heard of. That's always exciting. Let's go to preview game.
It is in Osage County.
On Max Preps. And Osage County, is that upper right corner of the...
By population 1243.
I don't even know.
Let's see.
I don't even know remotely where that would be around. They are 7-3-1 according to Max Preps. That is what they're looking like here, and
they're right there with the red dot. Well, the dot.
Yeah. Yeah, upper top right corner. That's what I thought. Top right corner of the state. They're up there. Boy, that's a drive. They're going to be coming down making quite a drive. It's not too bad because they're going to Gore. Gore is 10-1 overall, guys. These Pirates, 6-0 in their district is what they did. They are ranked 154th in the entire state of Oklahoma, 24th in their class. And so home 6 and away, road 4-1. Going back to the game that they lost in the season, I said let's go to preview game coming up. We are going to. But I'm looking over here, monitor number 3 to the right. Their only loss was Mounds. Now, Mounds is kind of a different looking team. Mounds 6-4 overall. They got throttled in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And let me squirrel down to this one. Stroud. They lost to Stroud 60-20. That was on November 8th. So they've been doing this a little bit longer than the rest of us. And yeah, they're done for the season.
Yeah,
but that was Gore's only loss. The Gore Pirates went down to Mounds. The Mounds look like they are the Golden Eagles. I saw some Golden Eagles the other night on a National Geographic thing, and I didn't know those guys were so ruthless. Not ruthless enough for the playoffs.
What class is Mounds? That's one thing I was trying to find out.
Yeah, they're one of here's the thing, guys. We don't know anything about what we're going to do.
Oh, they're Class A, District 7. Mounds may actually, well, I don't know.
Mounds went 3-4 in their district, man. 6-4 overall. So,
But it was week 2, and they got beat 21-12.
It was week 2, and it was 21-12, and that's why I'm not too worried about it. Because let's go back and look.
I mean, since then they're on what, a 9-game?
Well, here are the wins. They week number 1. On the 29th, August 29th, they won 14-7 at Haskell. Now, Haskell's a decent team, so, we don't really worry about that right now. It's first game of the year. Nobody's sweating that. September 6th, 41-14 over Heavener. That's pretty much expected. September 13th, that is the loss, and that was at Mounds High School, and that may have something to do with why they lost that game. Pecola. They went to Pecola for this, and they won 46-28. Tallahena, they were at Gore for that one. They won 37-6, the Pirates did. Hulbert was the next game on October 4th. They won 28-18, so that was a close one. Let me click on Hulbert and see what they look like. And that's
what I'm noticing from all of
4-6, man. That was a close game that shouldn't have been a close game.
What I'm noticing from all of this, Gore plays really, really strong at home.
Right.
And not so well on the road.
Well, I thank the Lord above for a home playoff.
There we go.
I mean, that's always a benefit. I'm sure the folks at Hugo said that the other night, and I'm sure the folks at Holland Hall are going to keep talking about that when they, the further they go into this. So now, getting back down here, looking past the Hulbert game, Porter, October 11th, 35-0. The Gore Pirates won 35-0. Warner the next week on October 17th, they went to Warner and won 21-6. The following week, November 1st, at Savannah, they won 39-7. They came to Salisaw here at Central High School on November 8th, 33-6. They won that ball game. Now, the playoffs started 11-15, Konawa. They beat them 27-6. And now, of course, we've got Barnsdall coming up next on Friday. That's November 22nd. That is going to be the next round of the playoffs. So we are going to click on preview game. We'll go ahead and look at that. And that's where we go back up here and see that the Barnsdall Panthers 7-3-1. And that's got to be hard to take one of those ones. Let me click on this and see what that is all about. I like looking at this stuff on the show.
I believe
doing zero homework.
I believe Gore's quarterback Shanks is their leading rusher. Well, obviously he's their leading rusher and leading passer. He leads with 116.5 yards per game, 98.5 passing yards per game.
It's pretty strong.
That's a good 50-50 ratio there. It's a good split.
The Panthers week 1, 8-23 was their week 1, and they tied Kiefer 14-14. So they came out of the chute with a tie. That's kind of a disadvantage because you've still got a bunch of zeros in front of your record on that one. Now, week 2, they came out smoking, 69-6 over Caney Valley. That was in Ramona. I've got family up that way. Afton, the next week, September 6th, they won 28-8. September 13th, they won 59-0 at Drumright. September 20th, Hominy, Oklahoma, 36-33. That was at Barnsdall. That was the rivalry game. So,
Okay.
Barnsdall coming out with a good win there over Hominy. Pawhuska the next week, they got smoked at Pawhuska. They got beat 60-12.
Whoa.
Yeah. So these guys are vulnerable. They can be vulnerable. It depends on who they're playing. And I think the Gore Pirates, you were just talking about their quarterback, I think he's going to give this defense fits, and he's going to tie them up. October 11th at Morrison, they lost 24-22. That was another loss for them. It was a super squeaker, but that was at Morrison. The next week, 10-17, they were Pawnee at home. They lost 24-20. That's the last game that they will lose up until at least could be this week. We don't know. But they, after that Pawnee game, 10-25, Tonkawa. And then you've got Woodland down here, 48-33. They beat both these guys, 33-8 and then 48-33. And then you come down here, Commerce. You know what's significant about Commerce, Oklahoma, right?
No, not
That's
really.
where Mickey Mantle's from.
Oh, yeah.
So you've got Commerce, Oklahoma, 11-15. They won 33-7 last week on November 15th. That was a big playoff game for them. So that was a pretty solid deal. That was at Commerce High School, and they won 33-7. Let me go ahead and click on Commerce. I want to see what they look like. 7-4, 6-1 in their district. Not too bad. But then you go into the factor of who have they played. You can't always look at somebody that's 7-4 and think that they didn't have a good football season.
Right. I mean, in 7-4, that's not a bad year. No,
7-4 is not a bad year. It's not a stellar year, but it's not a bad year.
Right.
It's kind of in the middle, which when you get to the playoffs, they got a first-round home game in the playoffs. So that has to say a lot as to either who they're playing or the conference that they're in, or I'm sorry, the district. I don't think we can say conference around here. But getting back to Barnsdall, looking all the way down here, they are after Commerce 33-7. Now they've got Gore. So that's the last thing on their list. Hopefully it will be the last thing on their list. I don't know. I got to be honest with you. I don't know much about the Gore Pirates. I don't. Might have said that earlier. Might have mentioned that a time or two. But
they're green.
They are green.
They're Class A. They're the Pirates, and they play football.
Yeah.
It's pretty much what I know about them.
Yeah. Well, they're good. They're good. They're playing a team that's 7-3-1. They're Barnsdall.
So it's going to be a good game.
I think it's going to be a good game. You just got a lot of 909 on the win percentage for Gore this year. That's pretty good. National rank 9,643. I don't know where they get this stuff from, but it looks good. Let's go back to the last game. Am I seeing this right? Well, that was a playoff game. They beat them 27-6. Look at this record, 3-8.
And they made the playoffs?
I mean, well, I don't know. How does that work? I don't know. Something's got to be. Maybe the product from the bud shop is too good today. I don't know. I might be seeing things, but
let me see. Pull it up.
No, look at their Rush Springs. First week they lost. Second week they lost at Stratford. Third week they got drilled by Wilburton. Mounds and Allen were wins. Losses: Stroud, Wayne, and Wewoka, and then Gore. Last week playoff. You wonder, how does a team get to the playoffs like this? What is this all about?
I have no idea. What team is it?
3-8. Yeah, so Gore, I don't know, how they're going to look against this Barnsdall team. What do you think, Michael? Just looking, you're over there doing a lot of studying.
I'm confused. I'm blown away.
What are you confused about?
Well, the fact that Gore last week played a team that was 3-8 in the playoffs.
In the playoffs, 3-8.
We're sitting here and we're trying to figure out how in the world you're 3-8. And like I asked you, how are you 3-8? Are you guaranteed a game, or is the best team in the class, like you said, possibly a 5-6 team?
Yeah, I don't know. It could be either way. I don't know. I mean,
they could have won in the playoffs 4-6 when they're 10 games, won one playoff game. We could have a team 2 weeks down the road playing in the state championship.
You never know what's going to happen with this. That's why it's weird. You want to make sure that these teams are
who they say they are.
That's why I wish we had a little bit more
study time.
More information. Yeah, Dennis got a hold of me about this game, and he wanted me to work on this thing, and I said, what do you have as far as stats? What can you give me on Gore? And he said, I'm working on it. And I said, we got the podcast tomorrow. Give me something on Gore. And he said, okay. And then here we are with nothing on Gore.
They're playing Barnsdall.
But Dennis has got his own stuff going on. So Dennis got Heavner and Howe hooked up on Today in Fort Smith to start doing their sports.
Cool.
So he brought me a laptop yesterday and said, taking this down to a guy, and Howe, I need you to completely format this thing and get Mixler on there. So that's what I worked on yesterday.
Okay.
When people think I'm just chilling like a villain, I'm usually knee deep in some kind of project, and I got this computer ready for these guys to roll down there. And but yeah, Dennis has got a lot going on with Today in Fort Smith. We just put out new numbers. We're reaching 175,000 people a week.
Total BS.
This is total BS.
Total BS. This is Total Bulldog Sports. Arklahomepage.com. Michael, how you feeling today, man?
You got highs, you got lows, but over the last couple of podcasts,
definitely got a lot of highs over here thanks to the Bud Shop.
We finally got settled in. Well, not settled in, but we finally got the trailer completely done. It's all the siding's on, the plumbing's hooked up, the electric's hooked up. We started moving stuff in last night, and whenever I leave the studio today, that's where I'm headed.
Boo, yeah. We got a new monitor in the studio today. How about that?
I'm liking it. I think it may be my new favorite monitor.
It's got the tilty screen action. And I don't know if you saw this, but I have a new universal remote.
Wow.
This thing is bigger than two people's heads put together.
Huge.
Good luck losing this thing.
And just so you know, that's two people's normal heads. When Clint held it up to his head, it was about half the size.
It was normal size because I got a lot going on up here in this noggin of mine. In fact, we were just talking about that before we got on this podcast, weren't we?
Yeah, I just open up and take a look in there. Just
take a look inside and see.
Because what'd you say you figured out how to do?
I figured out how to multi-layer these tracks and then take out certain pieces and put in different pieces just to make our opening and our drops and our hooks and our intros and things sound, funny. That's why we've got those clips on there, and we've got everything from Scarface.
You think you're big time?
To Cartman, to Gunnery Sergeant Hartman, your senior drill instructor. We've got a lot of stuff on there.
The more you hate me, the more you will learn.
Yeah, so getting back to the house, I know you say the trailer, but this is a big, nice.
Yeah, it's a double wide. It's 4-bedroom. It's 2.5 bath. It's got a living room. It's got a den.
Heck yeah.
I mean, this thing, we got it sitting on 2.5 acres of land.
Yeah, you guys got a good spot up there. I went up and checked that out. Well, I went up with you. You know that.
Yeah,
but,
definitely roomy.
Out. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff up there. I like the drive, how the drive comes in, and then you got your tree layout. And
yeah.
Thought you were going to have to drop some of those at first, didn't you?
Yeah, we did. They told us that we could possibly have to drop, 3 or 4, but after we looked around for a little bit and actually found out that we already have some stuff on the land, we went ahead and went with another route on where we were going to put the trailer, and instead of falling a number of trees, I just had to trim them up and cut them back.
You bet.
So if anybody needs firewood, let me know. I've got plenty of it.
I think I might pick up some and just keep it dry. DeWitt and I are always back here after games or something, always thinking, man, I wish we had some dry firewood, because it's just poured every time we do something.
I've got enough to have 3 days worth of bonfires right now, and not think twice about having another bonfire later on.
Well, that's going to be a lot of good firing up there on the mountain. Fire on the mountain.
Yep.
Run, boys, run. Isn't that what
You can go tell that on the mountain.
That guy's still up on the mountain talking trash.
Well, I'm going to be up there with him now.
Are you really?
Yeah,
geez.
But I don't know how close I am. I just know I'm up on the mountain.
Well, I don't know. Leave him alone. People
Total
like
BS.
that.
This is total BS.
Total BS. That's.
Wait. You think you're doing something? You think you're somebody. It's just total BS.
And then you find out that you're not. That's
You're just reaching all these people and doing all this stuff. I mean,
175,000 a week. I think
devil.
I think it's a little bit below that. 175. I think it's like 168.
Yeah.
We're reaching the masses, man. We came in here 2 years ago. Well, actually, we didn't came in here. We've been here all along, but we started a news media company from the ground up. In fact, we were on a football trip to Idabel when this came up, and Dennis had been working for Inside Fort Smith, and that guy over there wasn't paying him anything. I mean, literally not giving him a paycheck. So
wow.
Dennis and I were going to do this Roland versus Idabel game for free, and we're on the way down there, and I'm like, why don't we start this? Why don't we do this? Because I was just, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I was just newly sober in life. You know what I mean?
Right.
I was starting out on a new track, dealing with life head on and figuring out my purpose. And this just fell into my lap, literally fell into my lap. So we're on this trip, and I told Dennis, I said, man, don't worry. Don't sweat. I'll build your website. I'll put your Facebook page together. I'll start working on designs for, headers and logos and things like that. 2 years later, Michael, 21,000 page subscribers. 21,000 and growing. Well, I just checked our numbers today, and it said that we have had, in the last month, we put on exactly 500 new page subscribers.
Wow.
So, 2 months, we're looking at 2 months of growth, another 1,000 people every 2 months.
That's amazing.
That is amazing. That's todayinfortsmith.com. If you guys want to advertise, anybody listening, if you've got a business out there, look, here's the thing, folks. You might hate me. You might hate my guts. I don't know if you do or if you don't. In fact, a lot of people that I don't even know, that I've never even met, hate my guts. And that's crazy to me. But if you can put things like that aside, and you may love me to death, let's build on that. So,
yeah.
If you want to reach people, if you want to get your ads out in front of people and you want people to see them and you want people to interact with them, because we blow everybody away in post engagements. Everybody. The radio station, more than double them. We just blow them smooth out of the water. They're not even competition for us anymore. We can reach the masses. We're reaching 12 or 18,000 a month on, a week on Arklahomepage, and we're doing so many more. I've only got 1,000 something page subscribers. We do on Arklahomepage, but
and you never know, somebody that thinks they hate you now, they decide, we're going to give it a shot.
Well, here's the funny part, Michael. I've been running into a lot of that lately. In fact, yesterday, I went to pick up a check, and someone said, you do a lot of good stuff if people will just stay out of your way.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? You're right about that. That's 100%. If people will stay out of my way and quit trying to stop me just for the sake of trying to stop me, like, there's no point in it. There's nothing behind it.
But what I was getting at is, they may see, hey, business is not only doing better. Let's face it, business is doing good. It could always do a little better.
Always.
Right? So if it is doing better, and then you start talking to Clint, and it may lead into something where maybe this guy ain't so bad.
Yeah, I'm not. I just want to do what I do and not be interfered with. That's why I couldn't be a dad, because it was constant interference. Now look at me. I don't try to be a dad, and my life runs 100% like a well-oiled machine. Isn't that crazy how life works?
Yeah, very crazy.
But that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make right now. Somebody has to step up in that situation and say, I'll do this for the kids. So I'm going to take my back seat right here, and I'm going to give 100% of my efforts and my talent and my abilities to all these other kids around here.
That's all you can do.
Absolutely. That's exactly why I'm doing this. That's why you're doing this with me. This is the best project I think we've ever put on. In fact, we're going to do a podcast. We already did the coaches show for the Muskogee Monstars, but Coach Jacobs and myself and you, because you're going to be in on that, and we're going to have a bunch of players on there. We're going to have a bunch of round table stuff. There's some high school guys that are going to get out of high school, and they're not going to have opportunities in front of them. But there's going to be another level of football that they can go to if they want. That's a level that I'm not saying I'm bringing it to the table, but I kind of am. That thing fell in my lap too. You know how I ran into that whole deal.
Crazy.
But
I was with you when we got the message.
Yes.
Or when you got the message.
Absolutely. And, it's just been a crazy time. A lot of good things are happening. We're always getting bigger. We're always getting better every single day. We're going new places. We're doing new things. We're meeting new people, new schools. Gore Pirates. We're going to Gore this coming week.
Yes.
Come on, man. This is
second round of the playoffs.
Deep November football right here. So Gore taking on the Barnsdall Panthers. I hope we're saying that right. I know we're getting the Panther part right, because I've said that forever, but
No, it's
Panthers. And, you know, I think it's going to be a great game. I've never been to the facility out there, but everybody's told me that Gore's got a great facility. Have you seen their football?
I've not seen their football fields, but I know that at one point in time, whenever they redid their baseball fields, that was the nicest thing in town, and then they made the football on top of that even better, and they take care of the football field, not so much Little League baseball fields.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe we can write our congressman and get the Little League baseball field situation fixed. Who knows?
Yeah.
That needs to be a bigger thing around here, too. We need to get some broadcasting around that. We need to get it around junior high football, and we need to get around Little League sports in the summertime. So just in case you guys listening are interested in projects like that and you want to get something like that off the ground, I've got the vehicle for it. All I need is help. You know, because Michael and I are running out of hands. We don't have any extra hands. We did figure one thing out. We have revolutionized our broadcast, Michael.
Revolutionized.
Mm-hmm.
We have figured out how to run the 1080p high-def cam through the mixer, through Mixler, through the whole broadcast, and put it on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. But now that we can run everything through the USB interface and get it all on live, you know, we can't tape the game on Friday because we're not paying $200 for that.
Right.
Let's just face it, we're not going to do that. We will set up a camera and we will do the pregame. We'll do the warm-ups. We'll have a camera on the Gore Pirates on Friday. We'll make sure. In fact, we might even turn it on us and do a little pregame. When we do the pregame, we might just turn the camera on ourselves there for a little bit.
Be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it would be. I know people are probably going to say, "There, we don't want to see you guys."
Especially me. I
You
need a
don't do
haircut.
anything with that beard? What are you? We're always, for those of you who don't know, Michael and I are always having to make adjustments with the boom on the mics because of his beard. We're having to work around the beard. And I used to have that problem. I used to run around with a beard that was about 1.5 feet long and
Now I got one.
long hair, and I had hair down past my shoulders this summer, and I was hippie man 3000. But I went out to Virginia, and I just had a breakthrough out there, man. I don't know what happened out in Virginia. I had a lot of time to myself. I had time away from this place. I had time away from Arklahomepage. I had time away from Today in Fort Smith. Chicago, they said everybody needs a little time away.
From each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that's true. I got out there, I got a tan, I cut my hair, I came back looking a lot buffer than I did when I left. It's just because I just started taking care of myself. And I got to throw this out there too. If I didn't, I would be doing everyone a disservice. The motivation that I found and the health that I have gotten out of life lately has all come from being a licensed medical cannabis patient in the state of Oklahoma. And a lot of people may think I'm kidding about that, but I'm not. My life was hell on wheels until I started this stuff. For those of you who don't know, I'm a veteran. Then you come home and there are people who try to dismantle your life every day of it, and they want to make it harder on you just because they want to hurt you. Those are the things that I've extracted from my life. And now things are going better. And medical cannabis started paving the way for all that stuff. That's where I got my motivation. That's where I got a better outlook. That's where I feel like I got a new lease on life. It was after that I started, running and being successful at doing all that kind of stuff.
Eating
So
healthier, somewhat.
So, when we talk about our sponsors and we talk about the Bud Shop and we talk about Sunset Medicinals, we're not peddling a plant. We're not peddling a flower. We're not peddling smoke. We're not doing any of that stuff. We're giving people an opportunity to go to places that are trusted, that have trusted medicine that can change their life. I don't know what anybody else is going through out there, but I'm going to tell you one thing. My life is 100% different than it was before. And 2 years ago, Michael, I didn't even come out of my house. You know that. I wasn't even, or about three summers ago, I think, didn't even come out of this place. So, it's a big difference. We're trying to reach the masses. We're trying to spread the message. That's why we advertise the Bud Shop, Sunset Medicinals, Native Green on our broadcasts. Who else we got in there? Relief Works. Relief Works in Muldrow. We don't want to forget Relief Works. They've got a lot of good stuff going on. We went out and visited Relief Works, too.
Yep.
So,
went and seen them, said hi before we went out.
Yes.
Got a couple T-shirts.
And we appreciate those of you listening who know for a fact that all we're doing right now is just talking about our sponsors. We're not, some people think, oh, this is terrible. Look at the logos on that stuff. And it's not terrible, but there's a lot of opportunities. There are a lot of opportunities out there for people who want them. I just got done talking to a lady before you got here. Actually, when you walked in the door, we were texting back and forth, and she was asking me, how do I change my life? I've been taking pain pills for 28 years or something like that. I got to get off it. Guys, Oklahoma Medical Marijuana Authority, OMMA. Just Google it. Check it out, do some reading, find you a doctor, go get a recommendation, and that's how we'll do it. That message was brought to you by the Bud Shop and Sunset Medicinals, and so we appreciate you guys listening to that. Gore Pirates coming up Friday. Michael, do you have anything to add to all this hullabaloo before we get out of town here on Friday?
It's going to be fun. I really don't know what to expect. I really don't know what to look out for. I just know that we're in week 2 of the playoffs, and you don't get here by luck.
No, you don't get here by luck at all. You have to be skilled. You have to be disciplined. I mean, you just have to be playing great football. And I think right now the Gore Pirates are 10-1.
There we go.
Gore Pirates 10-1.
Playing good at home.
Yeah, excellent at home. They've got another playoff game coming up at home. Hopefully the one game that they had a struggle with early in the season, they won't have any more struggles like that. It definitely is going to be a lot of fun, not knowing what we're going to be doing or where we're going to be sitting. I think Dennis has gotten a hold of everybody at Gore and made all the plans for that. It was nice because I didn't have to worry about it.
Gore wins this game. They will host Cashin, Texhoma, who the winner of that game. And then, of course, they will.
Boy, Cashin's a stout team. That's a name that I didn't expect you to say right now.
Yeah, you got on the other side of the bracket who they could run into. You got Thomas Fay Custer against Minko, Rejoice Christian, and Wewoka, Ringling, and Frederick, Stroud, and Paul Huska. Ooh. So Stroud's on the other side of the bracket.
That's a good thing right now.
Right. Pawnee, Wayne, Magnum, and Dibble are above Gore. So there is. Gore has to win 2 more games to make it to the championship after Friday night. Has Gore ever made it to the state championship?
I don't know, man. We're going to have to find out some of this stuff. I'm hoping to get a program when we get out there. If anybody from Gore is going to be listening to this, guys, we're recording this thing on Wednesday. We always do this on a Wednesday. And then releasing it on Thursday, November 21st. And if you're listening to this on Thursday, November 21st, then thank you for listening to this on the day that it came out. If not, it's okay. I'm glad you're picking this up at a later time. That's why we have it on social media for you guys to do that. I want to remind you, everybody listening, download the Mixlr app, follow Arklahomepage. Also, get on Facebook. Go to Facebook and Twitter and search Arklahomepage. Follow us on there, like the pages, subscribe to everything that we do, and we're going to have a lot of information put out. Michael, we may not have any football after this week. We don't know what's going on. We may be cruising straight into basketball. And I say cruising straight into basketball, but last year at this time, we had time off. We didn't do playoffs. So we had like a whole 3 weeks that we had off. Now, look, we're going to November 22nd, and we're still talking about football. So, I think we've got our opening December 8th or 9th. I can't remember when it is. I think might be December 9th. We're going to have Spiro at home against Panama for basketball. And then the second game that we're doing this season is Muldrow's home opener. And that is against the Salisal Black Diamonds. The Lady Bulldogs are going to tip everything off first. Everywhere we go, we're going to see Lady Bulldogs first and Bulldogs second. It doesn't matter if it's Muldrow or Spiro. We want to say thank you to everybody who likes the fact that we can talk about multiple schools and they don't get upset about it. You guys, we know there's a lot of territory involved in this. This is kind of a territorial sport.
Get off my lawn.
And it is, Eastern Oklahoma football. This is a touchy subject, but, we love to get as much covered as we possibly can, and we thank you guys for letting us do that. We also want to say thank you again to all of our sponsors. We love our sponsors. They do a great job for us. This podcast always brought to you by the Bud Shop. They are the headline sponsor for everything that we do right now. Also advertising, Sensible Air is going to be on the playoff game, and S&S. Those were the only two who signed up, that weren't either A, a new sponsor, or B, a headline sponsor. So we've got Sunset Medicinals coming on because they're new. We've got the Bud Shop on there because they're the headliners. And we've got S&S and Sensible Air. So you guys, if you need your heating and air looked at, your heating especially right now, call 427-1234. They go all over the place. And Michael, you got any shout-outs for anybody, friends, fans, or family before we let you go?
And the wife and kids.
The wife and kids. And again, as always, the wife and kids, we appreciate you guys letting Michael come to the studio and doing this thing. Total Bulldog Sports. This is a great project. We love being able to do this, Michael.
Oh, I love it. I have a blast. I thank everybody just for giving us the opportunity, the drive, and then I thank you for letting me be your right hand man. Well, this year left hand man.
It's got to be on the left because of the new equipment that we got, courtesy of Sensible Air. They came in and cut a big check at the first of the season, and it went straight to equipment, man.
Yep. And thank you. It's a blast. I get off of work, I come straight over, we do this, and I enjoy every minute of it.
Yes, it's I love it. This is a great thing, especially for people who like to talk, and that's all me all day. Love to talk. This is Total Bulldog Sports, Arklahomepage.com, and we are on YouTube. And I guess until next week, we'll do this next week. We'll be talking about either football, third round of the playoffs, or we'll be talking about the first basketball games of the year, which we mentioned. But
be doing preseason basketball.
Preseason basketball. That's going to be it for now. So until next week, Michael.
See you.
That's it.
This is Total Bulldog Sports
Good day, sir.
on Arklahomepage.com.